The Redmi Note 12 Pro Plus 5G is arguably one of the best mid-range phones you can buy right now with almost, or should I say, a flagship performance. But again, it might be difficult for me to recommend the Redmi Note 12 Pro Plus 5G for a couple of reasons which we are going to be looking at. This time Redmi chose to go with an old school design. This is a type of design we saw way back around 2017, 2018 or 2019. The phone is all glossy, shiny, slippery, serious fingerprint magnet. You can keep this phone as a mirror in your house because of how shiny it is. This is the most difficult phone I have filmed in a very long time. The camera bump is a large slab that has a matte finish and it's not glossy. So I wonder why they couldn't just make the entire device matte black. Anyways, that glossy back is actually glass. The frame of the device is plastic. This phone actually doesn't feel so solid like previous models of the Redmi Note series that I've tested. It feels okay but not solid, like you could feel it when you hold the device. But the phone does have some weight to it and you feel it physically when you hold it. This phone is also rated IP55 dust and splash resistant, so it might not be a good idea to put this phone inside water. At the bottom of the device, there is a USB Type-C port, a speaker outlet, a single microphone outlet. This is also where the SIM tray is located. This device takes only 2 SIM cards, doesn't have a provision for an SD card, which is such a shame for a device like this. At the right side of the device, there are the volume up and down keys. The power button serves as the fingerprint as well. One will expect that the Redmi series should have an in-display fingerprint readers like, let's say, the Samsung Galaxy A series. But regardless, the side-mounted fingerprint reader still performs extremely well. At the top of the device, there is a second speaker, the headphone jack still remains, a microphone outlet, and of course, the IR blaster, which is a signature thing with most Xiaomi devices. The battery of the Redmi Note 12 Pro Plus 5G is 5000 mAh. It supports that crazy 120 watts fast charging, so it takes just about 20 to 21 minutes to charge this phone from 0 to 100%. The battery can do up to 8 hours screen on time, which is not bad considering the fact that this phone is a 5G phone. And what you also need to know is that when this phone is running on 5G, the battery also runs faster. And side note, this device actually supports MTN 5G, so I've taken it out there, tested it. It works excellently well with MTN 5G, but just that in some locations you will not get 5G. The Redmi Note 12 Pro Plus 5G comes with a Super Amoled display. It's 6.6 inches, it supports HDR10+, and of course it's a 1080p display with Corning Gorilla Glass 5 protection. This is not the brightest panel I've seen on a mid-range phone because it's a bit difficult to use outside, but at the end of the day, it's an okay display for the segment that this device is competing in. If you want to enjoy this display a step further, you'll have to turn on the 120Hz refresh rate. Mine was actually turned off by default, so I had to manually turn it on. Again, the display is quite comfortable for gaming. And talking about gaming, this device is powered by the 6nm Mediatek Dimensity 1030 chipset. The performance of the Dimensity 9000 chipset that runs on most mid-range phones like the Tecno Phantom X2 Pro has been amazing, and the upgrade, which is the 1030, gives that flagship experience in terms of performance. Now you see me, I play a lot of Call of Duty, and it's been smooth so far, playing at the highest graphics settings with no heating whatsoever. And the stereo speakers are amazing during gaming. From the box, my device came with Android 12 with the MIUI 14 interface already pre-installed. There are 2 memory options that you can get. You can get a version that has 8GB of RAM and 256GB internal storage, or you get another version that has 12GB of RAM or 256GB internal storage. When it comes to the cameras, the main lens on the Redmi Note 12 Pro Plus 5G is 200 megapixel. The ultra wide lens is 8 megapixel and there is a 2 megapixel macro lens. Then in front, you get a 16 megapixel selfie camera. Now the photos taken are always very soft because this thing called beauty mode is usually turned on by default. When it's turned off, the photos look a bit better. The phone tends to exaggerate colors in a lot of cases, but that's not a problem for me at the end of the day because most people will still edit their pictures before they post them on social media like Instagram or Facebook. I find photos taken indoors to look better than photos taken outdoors because the indoor photos are a bit more contrasty. The camera app also has this thing called voice shutter, which just takes a photo when you say the word cheese. If there is one aspect of this camera I love, then it's the night mode photos that it takes. They are just beautiful and the processing is not so extreme like most other devices. Also, if you want to take a 200 megapixel image, you have to switch the cameras to the dedicated 50 megapixel mode. It's going to take several 50 megapixel images and pixel bin them together to give you that single 200 megapixel image. Then the cameras do one cool thing. If you use the dedicated 50 megapixel mode to take a photo, you can tap this button right here. After the photo is taken, it's going to give you that same photo in 6 different aspect ratios, which is just sick. You can pick whichever one you want and save it as a separate photo. It's going to give you the photos in 16:9, 9:16, in landscape mode and different other modes. I love it. The cameras also shoot 4K videos at 30 frames per second, while the selfie cameras also shoots up to 1080p videos. Electronic image stabilization is available when you are shooting in 1080p, but if it's not 1080p, if it's in 4K, then there is no stabilization available. The footage is going to be very shaky. And don't forget to subscribe so that you see when we test the Redmi Note 12 Pro Plus 5G with other devices like the Infinix Zero Ultra and the Tecno Phantom X2 Pro 5G as well.